But see, so why mainline Protestants? We were brought up in church where you don't like push the boundaries, right? We weren't taught that faith was about getting in good trouble. It was about sitting in the pew on Sunday morning.
Well, you sure did learn your lesson.
Say, well, I've always been a little bit rebellious. And institutional churches like to kind of push you out to the side, right? I don't know where I was going with that, but just I think the whole getting in good trouble and recognizing that you're speaking to a room full of people that like grew up not being taught that as a foundational part of their faith. And so how do we like get from that to taking
There's a book on it about racing across the lines, how friendships across cultures help you to have that. I was an associate pastor at a church and the interim pastor, and this really sweet old lady, European American lady, I would say at the end of the prayer, I'd say, amen. And one time, she would never say it, okay, because she was taught that to say something in church was very disruptive, that you don't say anything at all during church. It's just not, it's not appropriate. Because God is sacred, God is holy, and we do not speak. But I must have worn her down because I came by to like shake her hand, Miss Ann, that's her name. And she said, I want to tell you something, Pastor. I said, well, what? She said, I said amen. I have a lot of patience. I have a lot of faith in people. I feel like if you're around folks that embody that are coming to you, in good faith, they're not trying to, beat you down. It's not about that for me. But that'll call you on your stuff, though. Like, make sure you have some folks that'll hold you accountable. That if you cross cultures, you cross the aisle, you sit down with folks that are different from you, it'll rub off on you.
It will.
It just does. I wouldn't let somebody like my friend here. If somebody said something to my security officer, I go to bat today. You know why? Because we're friends. Also because he's protecting me after this lecture time. But no, seriously, in relationship with folks, you get close to people and you can't talk to my friend like that. That's very different from you can't talk to my neighbor like that. I think proximity matters. The closer you get to people, the easier it is for those words to come out your mouth. Not today, not here, not ever. But it is something that has to be taught. It has to be modeled. But unfortunately, I fear that the way that we're going, a lot of people are about to be uncomfortable and you're going to have to fight back regardless. Unfortunately. And I mean that in all the senses. If you're entering a fascist state, African American people know this is coming. We've seen it coming. So I just feel like now is the time to really be aware. I want to say stay woke so bad, but they've just bastardized the terms. You do know that stay woke was a communal term for us, right?
Right.
And it means to look out, to keep watch, to be aware. It's about it's like being a watcher on the wall. Or if something's happening in the community, look out. It's important to look out for each other. So when you hear someone else say it, just know we have good intentions with the word. So when we say stay woke to you, it means look out, pay attention, keep your eyes open, and it is a term of endearment. It is to say we're looking out for you, we see something coming, and we don't want it to happen to you. Pay attention is the word. Pay attention. So I would encourage all of us to do that.
Another thing you can do is go out with diversity. Go to a restaurant with a lot of people of diversity, talk, discuss, have a good time. Let people see Christians working together and loving each other. That's a very good.
I agree, and I'm available for breakfast, lunch, and
I'm ready to stand in line. What do we do with some of the younger generations? I mean, you look at protests, and it's mostly, those of us who are a little older. And And I think, if you go online, you see a lot of keyboard warriors that I think are in those generations that are kind of making fun of the fact that it's kind of older generations. And I'm just, it just breaks my heart that we're not seeing passion for this kind of thing coming from our younger generations.
When I talk to folks in my circle, a lot of them feel betrayed. We went out in 2020, we put our bodies on the line. It was all young people across all cultures and communities. And we told you, like, if you could look away from George Floyd crying for his mother, I don't know what else to tell you. His life was choked out of him. I don't know how anyone could look away or find some type of narrative to justify that. And I think, unfortunately, the election results, it's just, we're just tired, especially African American women, and we're just not willing to put our bodies on the line anymore. It's just not worth it. If persons are going to smile in your face and then vote against your interests, it's like we need to stay out of it, because in the end, it's us that are going to get beaten down. So it's a deep sense of betrayal. I think the word is betrayal trauma. That the Religion of Whiteness books talks about, like you're in these close relationships with folks, and then you find out when you say leave the voting booth, but they're not exactly who you thought. And so if you can't trust those folks, then you pull away. Now, right now, I know that my friends and I are trying to sift through and figure out who are people really? Yeah, who are you really? Is like Howard Thurman would ask. What do you really believe? And what's really going on here? Is this what you want? And it's upsetting. It's disappointing because look what's happening. And for me, I don't want to say I'm glad to see it, but I think people need to see how white body supremacy behaves. That it just goes and bothers people. So when African American people tell you they're bothering us, they won't leave us alone, they're just going into our communities, will you believe us now? Because Donald Trump is just going after any and everything just because he can. Just because he has the power to do it. Nobody's bothering him. This is not the way to govern, because he has all power. This is how it behaves. So if we've learned nothing else, I hope we believe people. Believe them the first time when they say, hey, we're being harassed. Hey, we're being targeted. Hey, we're being killed.
Hi, so this is a curiosity question. I am from lower New York State, and so born in Manhattan and grew up in Mount Vernon, and then across in Rockland County. Moved down here 38 years ago. I did not see the kind of racism growing up in New York that I see down here. Is that the same across the country, across the board, or is it truly a Southern problem?
Well, I lived in Buffalo, New York for a decade, upstate New York.
Would you say in front of the microphone?
Of course.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
Is this better? Is this good? Come closer. Just tell me that. I'm good with that. I lived in upstate New York, Buffalo, New York, for about a decade. And the racism is different there. We call it a nice racism. Southern, it's not as obvious. Southern racism is pretty cruel. So unfortunately, that hasn't changed. Unfortunately, I've lived in both spaces. I was born in Pensacola, Florida. I was raised in Foley, Alabama. And I saw my uncle, this is not something I wanted, but I'm going to say it. I saw my uncle, John, bowing. He was bending his body to a European American woman. And I didn't like it. He said yes, ma'am, to her in a way that I didn't like. And he just wasn't the strong man that I'd known just 5 minutes before. He was in the military. He was a drill sergeant. He was a staff sergeant. So the way in which race caused him to change his body, to conform, to shipshape for his safety, I didn't like it. So I think there's a difference there. In the North, I didn't have to do it as much. I mean, you still had to pay attention. It wasn't as blatant as here, or there, or anywhere else. But it's still racism. I don't feel like that either one is better, because it's all deception. Like, you really don't like me, and that hurts. You're being deceived the entire time, so I don't know who you are at all. I don't know how to treat you. And so that's often why people They segregate out of safety because they don't want to be harmed. You can't trust what people say. And then when they do, and the racism from people in church is the worst. Jesus. I've never been hurt so bad in all my life. I'm at a multicultural church, and I think we're all on the same side. And then they say something like, oh, we want to keep this church white. I'm sorry. I've never been more disappointed in a group of people in all my life because I thought we were on the same page. I really did. But when power comes into play, people do different things with churches. And I think that has to be discussed and talked about, that there's an addiction to power that comes along with whiteness that we have to give up. You have to turn loose. You have to let go of. And then just be honest about who you are. But that, again, that's personal work that I don't know people are ready to do. And it's easier to pick on other folks, as is the history of this country, right? Than to do something new, even though the church is called to be a new community. Yes, Pastor?
No, I was walking to the side because I sometimes think the white institutional church has to die.
Jesus.
For there to be, for there.
Come on and preach today. Is that how they did it? Were they lively like that? Amen, Pastor.
I mean, we talk about how to be, anti-racist, but sometimes I wonder if that means the institutional church in America has to die in order to be reborn. But
I think we're in agreement. I say it sometimes. I don't ever say it on the mic. But Jesus. I think the whole church needs to die.
yeah.
I think there's a resurrection that needs to happen. And I think it all has to go. I think we need to start from scratch. I'm so sorry, but I'm really not. She started it. For the record, that you can rewind back. No, I agree with you. I feel that American chattel slavery has done a number on the church, and there's just no coming back from that. I do believe that the signs of segregation hang today in what is the black and white church.
Yep.
You just can't get away from it. You remain segregated, and your witness is compromised. See how I'm talking to you because I'm not a part of it? I refuse to join because it's hypocritical. You can't talk about a ministry of reconciliation if you can't come together. Thank you, Pastor. We agree. One more?
One quick
Yeah.
real idea. This is
Sure.
actionable.
Okay. Is the deacon here? Are we putting this on the minutes as action? It's an action item, friends. Okay.
Yeah, it's just an idea. I'll throw it out there. I felt for a long time, especially after I moved to a rural-like community here, that there's a lot of churches on a lot of corners. Every corner has a church, yes?
Yeah.
And half of them are empty.
Yes. Tell the
Got
truth.
8 people, and they're all 85 years old, and none of the kids come.
That's right.
If they would tear down all but 10 of them in
My
town,
God, today.
and we all shared those buildings,
Yes.
call your friends at the other churches, say which one of you wants to tear down and sell that property and invest in the 5 churches we're gonna share and fill.
Oh, but my grandfather, he built that
My
one.
God.
Well, it's gone.
What kind of people did you recruit for this meeting? What's going on in here? That's pretty radical. I agree with that as well. I do.
Carolee.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
Okay, I'll be on the committee.
Amen. You got one more?
And our churches can understand an anthem, a spiritual, a gospel, a hymn, a solo. Diversify your music and diversify your communication where everybody can get something.
Amen. So we have, it's not unique, but North Carolina has changed our educational system, and we have you can use your vouchers to send your child to you can use public school money to send your child to a private school. And it has resegregated, especially all of the 5 inner city schools in Statesville. I saw some data last week. It was very disheartening. And Like at Statesville High School now, it's like 18% white children. So we had come so far, and unless we interact with those people. Now, I grew up in the mountains of North Carolina. I never went to school with a black child until I was in the 6th grade. But, you know, if we don't interact, if we don't, I mean, maybe church is the place to start, but I was hoping that public education might be that was the first place that folks, I'm sure Barbara, and we have a lot of friends that went to the 2 African-American schools here in town. One was Unity and one was Morningside. One was for the city kids and one was for all the county kids. And when they finally desegregated and brought them into the schools, I mean, they're like anywhere else, there was problems. But when my children were at Statesville, things were going pretty well. We were sending kids to Duke and Carolina and, you know, NC State and Guilford and all these schools. And they lived together, they worked together, they played together. But now, when you allow white flight, and also you're allowing the private schools to use these vouchers to recruit the best athletes from Statesville High or South or wherever to come play at Davidson Day or wherever. You know, it's causing a real disruption because now those schools that are all high-risk, at-need schools cannot perform. So that creates a, you know, and I don't know what the answer is, but I'm telling you, if anybody in this room wants to fight for something, that's the thing to fight for today.
Amen. Well said, Pastor.
Yes, Steve. All right, Steve is going to close us out.
Amen.
You have a vision of a desegregated church in a nation where, 90% are black churches and white churches. Can you give us some steps of your vision toward that?
Yes, that's a great question to end on.
Not? Why would you? So you should know that it's not my vision, that it keeps me up at night, that I only get glimpses, that I hate this part. It's such a good question. That I am writing for people yet to be. That it may not be for us, that I probably won't see it. I'm just supposed to be a witness. I'm supposed to leave a marker so people know you're going the right way and that somebody else saw it. I only get to see it in my dreams. Sometimes. I just know that I'm supposed to write the vision. And you leave little pieces of paper here and there. I call this my working papers. That's what Howard Thurman would call them. So it's not even for me. It's for a people yet to be. But it's also to tell the church that it's going to happen, that you all can continue to resegregate yourselves, but God is going to bring you together regardless. And God will continue to send prophets like myself to tell you, you're going to walk together, children. It's just going to happen. God's going to continue to send prophets that have this same word. But it's not mine. I feel like it's something. It's just a note I'm passing. It's not my message. It's just somebody gave me a note, and I'm passing it to the next person. So I don't have steps for you, other than those of baptism, to get in the water, to drown out all those things that would go against us as a body, to stay in there long enough for those labels to float to the top. Right? To stay in there long enough that when we're walking around this sanctuary, the floor is wet. To stop saying that baptism is finished with a certificate and a towel. You got to keep walking it. We're nowhere near it. But I do believe that a kingdom is coming, and I can't stop saying it. And I can't even explain to you why it's happening to me. I just know that I'm supposed to do it for the rest of my life. And I believe that when I'm gone, somebody else is coming. That's a really good question.
Yes, thank you. Can we round of applause?
Thank you.
Yes, you can come. There are books available. Take Me to the Water in the back. Whatever kind of payment method you've got, we'll take it all. And she'll sign it. So please be sure to get that in the back and join.